Okay, I guess I should just start this. So, hi again, everybody. So I put up a video I think last week, and nobody watched it. That's fine. I just want to start learning how to do this so that I know how to do it. I have all the pieces, and it's free to put up stuff on YouTube. Um, and again, I'm kind of doing it more for a diary thing. I got a few critiques from watching it over at um, So, a bit of personal information about me. I have a kid and I'm divorced, but I'm still good friends with my ex wife. We realize we work better as friends and we still want to be in our kid's life and not have a contentious relationship. So, I get along with her really well, actually. We didn't get along when we were married, but we get along great as friends. So, anyway, I think a lot of people are in that situation. It's more common than I realized once I was divorced and kind of asked around. I'd never really cared about it before. Uh, anyway, the point of that is I was over there and showed the video to her just briefly, and the first thing she said is, "Your headphones look stupid, and your lighting is terrible." So I tried to improve the lighting a bit, and I changed my headphones. Hopefully, they look better. Uh, and that's fine. Any kind of criticism is great. Obviously, one of the things that she said that was very interesting also is I said, "Oh, I just want this up here for me, like as a diary type thing." And she said, "No, you want to put it up on YouTube if that's all you wanted," which is kind of true. Um, Obviously, I could put it in private mode. There's a lot of different ways that I could upload this, but there's a more tangible reality of it if it's out there for other people to watch, even if they don't watch it. Also, it's free, so why not do it? Um, Maybe those aren't good reasons, but for me, they make enough sense for me to keep trying to put up videos. I can say all I want, like, "Oh, I'm just doing this to build the skill set," but if I'm actually putting them out there instead of just watching them and uh, saying, "Oh, I could have improved this, could improve this. Don't put any up until I know what I'm doing more." I would still learn the skills and they wouldn't be out there. But I can delete the videos anytime too. So anyway, because I'm not extremely extroverted and I really don't think I have anything to say that um, makes me important enough that somebody would look me up without knowing me. I have a bit of a, I guess, internal conflict with whether or not I should do this at all. But I think that's a good reason to do it. You should step outside of your comfort zone every once in a while. And honestly, the stress of having it out there doesn't really affect me because I can see how many people are watching it. It's not very many. There's a billion people doing the same thing on YouTube and podcast right now because of the coronavirus. Everybody's trapped inside. What's a little bit annoying about that is I had been building up to doing this a lot or for a long time before the coronavirus came around. I guess it's not annoying. It's just, it makes it look like I'm doing this because I'm bored and inside with the coronavirus, and so are so many other people. And that's fine. That's definitely partially true. So, anyway, um, the thing that I changed this time is or the thing that I noticed that was wrong with the video that I looked at, aside from the very blunt criticism I received, um, was that it doesn't make sense for me to have the rambling part of a video in front of the part where I'm actually trying to show something with some amount of meaning in it or some agenda. So the thing that I'm hanging all of this on, or the framing device that I'm using, is that I'm also learning Cubase, which is true. I'm trying to figure out how to make music, and I think it will be cool to be able to look back at how good I've gotten later in the future, as long as I keep it up. It will also make it to where I can hold myself accountable for continuing to do well with this. Um, anyway, I was thinking of cooking video or cooking recipes that people put up online, and one of the biggest complaints that they have is that these uh, lonely single moms or moms that just don't get out very much will put an entire diary in front of the recipe. And then the recipe's like a paragraph down at the bottom, and everybody's like, I don't fucking care. I don't care about your life. I don't need to know, some story of when you were 10 years old and how, this recipe brings that back for you or whatever. So a better way to separate these videos is to have one that's basically a brainstorming session and just a behind the scenes kind of, and then one that is the actual meat of the video. And that, I think, is just a better way to do this. So I'll probably upload 2 videos every week. I should probably edit them down more, but I think the first video, in particular this one, I'll probably just always leave. I'll leave it unedited, as long as there's no big pops or anything. I'm not going to be doing anything complicated with music, other than maybe framing the next video. So that this ends up being a little bit of a behind the scenes for how the actual video is made. And again, there's some obvious other things that I should work on with the more produced video, which should be, I should make a bit of a title card with some music. I hooked up my tablet again, so I'll do that. I should work to edit in movie clips or something, like a lot of the channels that I watch do, and try to... I don't think the channel's I'm never going to care about this enough to try to promote it and get it to the point that it's large. The market's already saturated with people rambling on YouTube and having equipment having all the equipment that I do and being able to produce better videos, I guess. If I keep doing it, maybe I'll get like 100 people that watch my stuff. My point is, I don't think YouTube's going to come after me and take down my videos if I make any huge mistakes with copyright. I don't know exactly what the rules are. I watch enough other YouTube videos that I kind of have a vague idea, which is what's up over here. Watching the Critical Drinkers channel and how he would fix the character of Luke Skywalker. I haven't actually watched the video yet, but I like the Critical Drinker. He's a guy that I think actually started making videos just on a whim, and became a movie criticizing channel. But he has an angle. He has a heavy accent that he plays up, and acts like he's drunk and surly. And he does enough editing in his videos to keep them interesting. He's also a writer, so he has from other videos that I've seen. So he has some amount of insight into movies. Also, he's kind of writing the anti-SJW and identity politics train in an efficient way, that makes it to where, there's a bit of a vacuum for realistic critics of that movement, I guess. It's an interesting time to be alive politically. I think it always is, though. I think there's always contention. The difference is it's been ramped up a lot since Donald Trump's been elected, obviously. I think when people get away from their computers, they feel fine about it, but when you jump into online sessions, people talking shit to each other and stuff, it's a big train wreck a lot of the time. So obviously, I hope that I don't know, gets patched up. I don't know, though. Social media seems like one of those things that is kind of it's like Pandora's box, I guess. We didn't really understand how much damage it would cause, and I still don't think we know, to the fabric of our society. Speaking in doom and gloom terms, really, I think it could be in a generation or two the cause of major wars, and nobody will understand that it's the amplification in the echo chambers. The silver lining of all of that is that there are definitely people that are seeing that, hey, there's a problem here. Everyone needs to calm the fuck down and just talk to each other like normal again, instead of being hyper partisan and super attacky. Twitter is the main mouthpiece like that, but Reddit's gone all to hell, and Reddit's the one that I go into. One of the things I was thinking of doing in this video is actually showing like one of the Reddit threads that I was in this morning, which I just shouldn't have wasted my time with. But I don't know that I want to give out my Reddit name yet. I don't think it would matter, but I've in the past I've been fairly drunk and written things that maybe would come back to bite me in the ass. Nothing super racist or anything that I can think of. I don't think like that when I'm drunk. I mostly get just shitty and depressed. So it's one of those things that people are aware of now anyway, is, oh, if you have a social media platform that you're exposing to the world and you say stupid shit on it, people will call you on it. And I've looked through my history every now and then, and I don't have anything terrible in there. I really am pretty centrist in the way that I look at the world, I think. And I am not, unless you get into the subconscious racial bias that some people think exists, I'm not racist in any way. I have some other kind of extreme views in other areas, but nothing terrible in my opinion. I'm really I've always been a bit more of an anarchist or a libertarian than anything. That's very boring though. So, yeah, that's something maybe I'll go over again later, is Reddit and what I do on there, because it's a kind of a big part of my life. I liked talking about The Drinker. There's a bunch of YouTube channels that I've watched now. I found Red Letter Media a while ago, which I hadn't watched through. I hadn't really seen any of their videos, but they have a huge following, and there's a good reason. Their videos are very well produced, and they put a lot of effort into them. And they're entertaining. They figured out formulas that work. It's fun watching their really old stuff where they kind of have an idea of what they're going for, and then watching their newer stuff where they really have it ironed out and nailed down. It's one of those things where obviously practicing at editing the videos, and even like Jay's haircut is better now, realizing, oh, you have to be presentable for videos if you're going to be in front of people in videos. The same thing that I've kind of realized. Another thing that I realized from watching other videos is I need to be fairly energetic, or else this is a huge slog and not very interesting to watch. I'm not very energetic right now. Maybe I can go for the soothing, laid back thing. Another YouTuber that I like is Brutal Moose, and I think he's a really good editor. So he puts in stuff in his videos when he knows they're getting boring, and he cuts them up to where they appeal to you the entire time that you're watching them. I like Your Movie Sucks. His name's Adam Johnson, I think. I really like gay Canadian YouTubers for some reason. Well, they make really good content. And then I like Northern Lion. Northern Lion's a workhorse. I just really respect the stuff that he puts together. Continue is one of the shows that I watched a ton, but I've kind of fallen out of watching that. I'm sure they're still putting out great content. I like those guys, but they have some of it might be that like my life was kind of a train wreck when I was watching a lot of their stuff, so now I don't like watching it. I don't know. Either way, those are all some YouTube channels that I like. The Cinema Snob, and to a lesser extent, the Nostalgia Critic. I watched a lot of Nostalgia Critic videos for a while, but God, he can be grating. And then Cinema Snob's one of those that when I first saw his videos, I was like, man, this guy just has a weird vibe that I don't like. And then I started watching more of them, and I was like, okay, well, he's playing an act. I get it. And then slowly, all of a sudden, it just snapped. And a lot of this, I think, has to do with the fact that he has a ton of referential content. Like you have to watch kind of all of his videos, and there's like 400 of them to get all the jokes that he's throwing in. Anyway, that's another guy that's a workhorse that I just respect on the amount of work that he's making. I loved older JonTron, and I think he made a big impact in the YouTube community as far as the way that he edits stuff and how much time he would put into his old videos, and basically raised the bar on YouTube content almost single-handedly. I think that's the reason that he got really popular. His newer stuff he's in a weird spot, at least from what I can tell now, where he understands that he's kind of a cultural force and he wants to continue doing stuff, but I don't think he has the same. I think the reason his old videos worked is because he was like, fuck, I'm bored and I'd really like to do something with this. I'll just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. And there was a charm to that almost seems gone now. Not to shit on him too much. His new stuff's okay. It just doesn't have that same feel anymore. There's too many people involved, I think, is the only thing I can think of. Some of my favorite stuff with him was done with the guys from Continue, Dom Muschietti and Paul Ritchie. So those videos, I think, rubbed some people the wrong way. It's got a very Philadelphia sense of humor. I don't know what else to call it, but either way, he cut ties with those guys and started working with a bunch of other people, and I just don't find his stuff quite as entertaining anymore. I think that's all the YouTubers that I respect and like now. Obviously, the stuff that I'm making is nothing like any of them. This is a long, uncut ramble session, which maybe they do every once in a while, but I think they understand well enough that even with like Q&A videos and stuff, you have to cut out all of the in-between stuff, spend a couple hours at least on editing. And right now, because I'm learning a lot of different things, I don't want to spend a couple hours on editing. I want to spend a couple more hours doing something in Cubase. One of the things I guess I wanted to do this time is go through a bit of my room and what I have in here. Let's see how this goes. This is the camera that I'm using. There, can you see that? And lighting. Oh, my voice is going to suck if I get away from the microphone. So that's a camera that I'm using. It's an $80 Logitech something or other. It was like one of the top selling ones. I have to move this around a lot to show the other stuff. So here's a desk that my dad and I built that is cluttered with a bunch of random stuff. Here's one of the best things that I bought. Not my phone. This Focusrite single whatever it is. Get out of here, headphones. I don't remember the exact name of this thing, but this is what I'm recording through right now. It's worked great for me with OBS is what I'm running over here. Oh, I guess that I can actually share on the screen. Although it'll make it, whatever that's called, feedback signal. That looks kind of cool. Anyway, that's my keyboard. Here's a actual musical keyboard. That's Nectar Impact LX88 Plus is what it says on it. I don't know how to play the piano, but I got that anyway. It's like impossible to see those. Here, I'll just grab my guitars. You know what? I don't need to go over any more of my studio. There's a bass guitar there and my old guitar that I got from when I was in college, and I thought I was going to be a jazz guitar major. And then I have a couple others over there, a couple other guitars. That's my whole setup right now. Um, so yeah, it's I put together a bunch of different stuff to get to where I could record things, and it's been fun so far. The thing that well, other videos actually I've been watching now are a bunch of production videos, and one of the best ones that I saw recently was finishing a song. And one of the things that told me to do, maybe I can find that video. It's from like Musician's Friend or something like that. I don't remember. Oh yeah, I'm watching My Hero Academia also. That's a fun anime. Do, 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 do. Let's see. Musician on a Mission is the name of the channel that I've been listening to. It's an interesting channel. They obviously have additional content that they want you to sign up for with email, and they have some kind of pay model, which is great for them, but I'm cheap, I guess, so I probably won't pay anything for it. They give a bunch of information without that to or without having to pay for it. It's great. Do they just have an upload section? Oh yeah, here we go. Because the video that they had was, oh, that's hilarious. Me changing my audio settings broke Chrome. That's fine. I'll make a new tab. Again, this is going to be rambly. I don't know how long I'm going to aim for here. Maybe 30 minutes, and I'm at 22. Let's see. Maybe videos. Yeah, this was it 2 weeks ago. Oh, please restart your computer. No. Anyway, if you get a chance to watch that video, I don't need to watch it here. 11 top tips for finishing your songs is kind of an interesting video. One of the things they talk about in there that actually plays into this YouTube thing a bit is if I throw my goals up on YouTube and they're out there in the ether, even if nobody's watching them, it's kind of like if you if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, does it still make a sound? And I think if anyone can watch the video of the tree falling, to continue using this clunky analogy, then yeah, it makes a sound whenever somebody actually watches that video, including the tree later if the tree wants to watch it. I got off the track there, but the point the video makes is tell somebody that you're supposed to be finishing a song. And what I'd like to use the YouTube thing for is to be that I am going to do this, basically a plan for the week or for the weekend of music stuff I'm going to do. That way I can hold myself accountable to doing it. Oh yeah, cookie clickers there in the background. That's a little distracting. Let's change this back. All right, there we go. Back to Fat Thor. Oh no. Whatever. All right. Stupid Chrome. I wonder if I close all instances of Chrome. Will that break anything? No. Let's try that. And then open these back up. So the last thing that I want to do with this video is kind of go over the 3 different songs I'm working on, and maybe just come up with a brainstorm for some ideas of what I could work on.
So it would appear...
Oh, God. Okay. Of course you're working now. I wonder
that people kind of enjoyed my first Drinker Fixes video, where I did my best to sort out the unfunny walking joke that was Fat Thor from Avengers.
Okay, so I'm sure that's coming through. Last time I didn't think that it would, but I'm pretty sure that in the Mike Ox mix,
Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, that comes through. So that's cool. Maybe sometime I will do just for an idea for content is reviewing YouTube creators, review the reviewer or whatever. I don't know how interested anybody would be in that, but it's an idea for random stuff I can ramble about. Um, so yeah, one of the things that I want to work on is some kind of title card for YouTube videos. I know that I need something that's like a 5 second long, um, you know, or whatever to start the video, and then I can change that every couple months. That's just something fun to do that I could do in Cubase. I also hooked up my drawing pad again. I'm terrible at drawing. I'm a terrible artist, but I've always enjoyed doing it, and it's a fun thing to again have an excuse to try to improve on that. So I'm gonna go through the 3 different songs that I kind of or a few different song ideas that I have right now, and I guess maybe nail down what I want to do in this video. Maybe I aiming for the 30-minute mark. I've got like 4 minutes. So one of the songs that I worked on was just adding a chord track to a Cubase project. It's something that another channel that I watch a lot. There's a guy named Greg Sestero, I think is his name. That might be the guy from The Room. Anyway, some dude that knows Cubase really well. He always has projects with these chord tracks in there, and I finally was like, okay, I'll mess around with that and see how it works, and came up with this basic chord. So that's super cheesy and simple. One cool thing with these chord tracks is you can change what instrument is actually playing them. So I found a few old 80s sounding music bits or synthesizers. I found a few 80s sounding synthesizers or tracks. I shouldn't have talked over that. Anyway. So that's something I could mess around with. One of the cooler things that you can do with this is, I think you do this, and then this, and then this, and then you can do this, and no. Oh, God. I swear you can drag these up. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And then move this over there. Okay, so now I can actually make these, what's the word? Arpeggios, or pull them in and add other notes, maybe a lead or some simple lead, make them shorter, do whatever I want to do with them to make an actual song. So that's one thing that I've been thinking of doing, is just some kind of 80s garbage song using those chord tracks. Let's see what else I got. One thing. Oh, God, I forgot I was working on Wizards and Warriors. That song is hard. Another thing I worked on a while ago was this. Oh, I should close that project. Well, here. Boop. I guess I can save it. Let's see. So this was just something that I put a lot of instruments together with, and made a or I found a violin, large strings, VX pattern, and started messing around with it, and ended up with something that sounds kind of like a movie score, but I don't know what else to do with this right now. So then I have the same thing playing again with a little drum beat over it that I don't think adds much. What's wrong with that drum set? Well, I won't play the rest of that since it's broken anyway. I hope the rest of these audio bits haven't sounded weird like that. That's another thing that I could mess with, but I don't really have any interest. The main thing that I've been, I guess, trying to gain enthusiasm about is this song here. It was a little one-off riff that I recorded. Oh yeah, and I added some amount of bongo beat to it. Let me bring it over. So I threw together a lot of drums and stuff for this. Let's listen to just the little guitar riff that the whole thing's. There. That was terrible. I'll have to cut that out of the audio. Got massive feedback because I had a monitor on. And this distortion's pretty rough. Let's see if this works now. Should have taken off my headset. It wasn't that loud. This riff is incredibly simple, but it's something I could build on. My inspiration for this in general was an old song by Failure called Daylight. It's an amazing song from a long time ago, I guess. So yeah, look up Failure Daylight if you want to hear this song. And I was thinking, oh yeah, I could have it start slow and then build into a real heavy, slow, dense rock song, like kind of emo rock song. And then I start doing it, and I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to do this. This is going to be so much work. So some of that is just me being lazy. I have also been playing around with the idea of recording another one of my other bands, or my main band that I was in a long time ago. There's a backlog of songs there, like 15 I can remember probably. Not all of them are good, but one of them in particular has been kind of stuck in my head as far as it's full of energy. It's similar to the other songs that I've recorded, and it's there. The lyrics are very nice guy like. It's funny, everybody seems to go through a phase in their life, or a lot of guys anyway go through a phase in their life where there's that one girl that they get stuck in the friend zone with, and everybody knows what that's like. And that's what that song's about, which is super immature when I look at the lyrics now. They're not terrible. They're just childish. And it's one of those things that if you'd told me it was childish at the time, I would be like, yeah, I know, but I love this girl. And that wasn't true. I was infatuated. Anyway, all of those are the things that I could work on. The main point of this video, and I'm a good ways over 30 minutes now. The main thing I wanted to do is get something nailed down that I have to finish, I guess before next weekend. What do I want to do? Yeah, when it comes down to nailing down a plan, I really don't like doing that, obviously. Coffee. So maybe this week, well, first, do I want to make another video today? Do I want to make a Cubase video and try to edit it down? And what would I show in it? I could show the No Effects song. I could show one of these songs and say I have to try to finish this weekend and record again tomorrow. There's a lot of things I could do, or I could do none of that. Hmm. I think what I'll try to do is come up with a little song that can go over a title card, so it just has to be like 10 seconds long. Yeah, but I could do that just by cutting out another piece of another song. So this is what a lot of times writer's block, I guess, looks like. At least for me, there's 50 different things that I could do. Some of them started, some of them just ideas, which is still kind of started. And I have to narrow down and actually pick one of them. Then I get overwhelmed by. Oh yeah, that video talked about something related to this, which is choice fatigue, basically, where every time you make a choice to do this or that, or to, the reason it was in the video at all is you might choose to put on this kind of filter, or you might choose to put on, this EQ or whatever. And eventually those choices wear you out, especially if you're like, oh, I'll put an EQ on this and set it to this. Oh, that sounds like garbage. I'll just delete all that work. That was still work. You just didn't get anything from it. So the same thing happens when you're picking songs to work on or trying to figure out what to do next. And sometimes, like with this video, you just say, well, I'll do something. I don't care if it's good. It's a thing to do. That's kind of my philosophy of life is eventually you get to the point where you can do kind of whatever you want, and then you do that and try to keep yourself as entertained as possible until you die. So it's it's more fun than I made it sound. It's not that I hate living. It's just sometimes you get overwhelmed by the choices, and that's a good thing in my opinion. If you have a lot of things that you consider kind of fun, and you can't pick out of which one, because I could just play, I could also just play video games for the rest of the day, but I just haven't been that into video games recently, which is another thing I can make videos of potentially. But yeah, what writer's block really looks like is you have a lot of ideas and all of them are kind of meh. Like you're not excited about any of them, at least to me again. And I could just force myself to do one of these things, but is that going to be fun and a good use of my time? I don't know. It's probably better than, again, playing video games all day. Anyway, I think I'll end the video there. I did not decisively pick which thing I'm going to do next. Like I wanted to. I wanted to be able to come out of this with a concrete plan for what I'm going to do next. What I think I'm going to do, because I really do want to come up with something, is I will play around on the guitar. I found something that it shows a lot of blues licks that I could practice. That was, or jazz licks, I guess. It was a neat site. A lot of them they're just arpeggios and runs that sound neat once you put them together. I just don't know any of those, and I was watching somebody play guitar in a video, and I was like, oh, this guy can just sit down and play stuff that sounds neat, and they're all jazz scales and stuff. It fills up a lot of space, and it doesn't need a ton of distortion or anything. It'll sound pretty good on any guitar, and I was like, I could play those, I just don't know how. So I could do that some, and then try to come up with 3 or 4 other riffs for this song, maybe, that I have up, and at least have, what I'd like to have is something that I can work on that's kind of a complete song, that I can work on just for a few minutes every evening this week. Because I find in the evening, obviously, I'm very tired. So I give myself a bit of a playground, either in this song or a completely different song. And all I need is a few licks, few riffs, whatever you want to call them. Probably about 4. Intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro. standard song structure, plan for that. And if I can get that idea kind of down and figure out what I want the song to sound like, then that's good. I might start here, but honestly, I'm not feeling the slow, heavy guitar sound that I want to go for there right now. So maybe I'll just come back to this, or maybe I never will. It's not that great of a riff. That's one thing is sometimes I record stuff and I'm like, oh, that sounds good with that distortion. And this is a little boring. I have a few other a lot of that is just a distortion is interesting. Let me see. I do something else here. Then I know I had a real strong change here, and I messed this riff up terribly. That's a completely different key, completely different feel. I come up with some kind of bridge between those. I like that second riff okay. Anyway, what I guess I've realized through this video is, well, I'll watch it and see. The main thing is having a goal of being able to nail down what I think I should do next is admirable, but maybe I don't need to do it. Maybe I rebel against it subconsciously, and I just don't want to be nailed down to do a particular thing. What I do know is I have one more cup of coffee. I'll drink that and fart around on the guitar at least a little bit, and probably take a look at this video and see if the quality is okay. I hope it is. I'll have to cut out that one feedbacky section. Maybe I won't, though. Who cares? Nobody's watching this. I could put it, well, it would be just as hard to, put like words over it or whatever and say, oh, turn down your volume here. And then I could turn down the volume and then I might as well cut it out. So anyway, yeah, this was amusing to me and took up 40 minutes of my day. Maybe someday I'll watch it again and be like, oh, this is great. Or watch it again and be like, oh, this is a terrible idea. And again, having a kid now that's growing up, hopefully he might be interested in seeing what I was like when I was younger. We'll see. Anyway, bye.